Millions of Americans can no longer keep up with HOA fees. Hey everybody, Scott Walters, welcome to the show. If you're new, I want to thank you for coming. If you're returning, I want to thank you for your continued support. Before we get into today's red hot topic, let me politely ask you to give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment below. I would love to hear from you. Please watch to the end for my final thought and hit the bell icon so you're notified when new videos are released. It's very important to stay close to the channel in these very tricky times. These are tricky times, friends. My gosh, the latest report I just saw, police department called into an HOA meeting to break up homeowners ready to just go at it with their HOA board. The HOA boards are now just implementing these HOA fee hikes on these homeowners. And listen, they're already running on fumes. And here's I'm laughing at myself. I'm laughing at this stuff. It's like a built-in self-defense mechanism to wrap your head around. Sometimes you just got to laugh. But it's no laughing matter. Bamboozle. I've always so much to unpackage here. I'd much rather see you spend what you're going to spend on an HOA fee towards a mortgage on a single family home, not in some condo where you're restricted on what you can even do on the property and you're paying these crazy fees. With inflation, a runaway train, this is a byproduct of kicking the can too far down the road. If you're having your HOA fees go up on you, this is a byproduct of kicking the can down the road. Runaway inflation. Insane. So usually the people that serve on an HOA board, they usually appoint like an HOA president, and then they have the HOA board members, and they sit around and talk about how all those homeowners, you got to get those towels off the balcony, and did you hear so-and-so's parking in the red again? That's typically what these meetings sound like. But because you might have a pool and a gardener, and when we want to do some upgrades, in fact, they've been speeding through the development. I think we need some of those new fancy speed bumps. And next thing you know, they're passing it on to you. Brand new homeowner, already trying to keep up with their cost of service, the debt, and now their HOA fees are going up immediately. Anybody that bought in the crisis is in big, massive trouble right now. Massive trouble. Now what we're getting is reports of these homeowners have had enough. There's 2 times in 1 year, this year, in less than a year, that the board is raising their HOA fees. And listen, this is if you really want to know why this is happening, it's really in black and white. It's clear as day. As a trained salesman, trained in the psychology of sales, the psychology of people, we have to understand how people are thinking, behaving, acting. And this is big. This is big. In fact, let's cut over to today's article and what's going on in just one of many communities all across America that are having HOA up and up and up and never down. Let's cut over to this article. We'll meet back here to wrap this one up. Let's get started. Police called on property owners after HOA increases monthly fees to $350. A homeowners association meeting at the Mandarin Lakes neighborhood in the Naranja Lakes went off the rails. The Tuesday night meeting was cut short after residents say the cops were called by the HOA. Furious community members say the meeting escalated when the HOA board told residents their monthly fee would increase to $350 a month. The breaking point. Let's get back to the studio so we can wrap this one up. All right, friends, welcome back. So there you go. Here is the challenge. This is the disturbing part. It's disturbing on many levels, clearly. But this is a byproduct of inflation, a byproduct of a housing bubble, a byproduct of FOMO, a byproduct of herd mentality, a byproduct of the wealth effect, a byproduct of everything that was created during stimulus. These homeowners now are exhibiting very alarming behavior. What's that tell you? If you're ready to act out to the point where the police are being called, that means you've exhausted your savings account and you're living on credit cards. Why do I know that, you ask? Well, of course I'm going to tell you. Because the data is in. The U.S. savings rate is at an all-time low after a stimulus era. That is scary. That means people have exhausted their savings. U.S. debt is at an all-time high. Credit card usage. People are leaning on credit cards. This is insane. So what happens when people hit the breaking point? They get angry. They get angry and they got to direct the anger at somebody. So, of course, the HOA board, which, like I said, most of the time is retirees that don't have anything better to do. Usually they'll sprinkle in a new homeowner or millennial here and there. But the realities are this is probably costs that are being passed on by their service providers, maintenance, pool, gardener, whoever, onto the resident. The challenge with this, I mean, personally, I think it was $350 a month was the HOA fee that people are up in a barn. I'm seeing HOA fees here where I'm sitting today, $2,000 a month. Can you imagine? Now that's for the playground for the rich and famous that maybe has money to burn. When you see, usually what happens is most of these condos are either people are retirees or first-time home buyers. If you get into a luxury condo that somebody has as a second vacation home, different story, different product altogether. But what we're seeing now is basically retirees and millennials hitting the breaking point. They can't tolerate this anymore. And here's the challenge. This is the number one challenge that I'm seeing with this. Let me know what you guys think in the description below. Insanity. The challenge with this one is people bought these places because of why? Well, the stimulus era, the low interest rate environment, the narrative. It's a great time to buy. Interest rates are low. I've said this, right? Since day one. Your interest rate won't save you. I don't care if you have 0% interest. If you can't tolerate your cost of living anymore, there's one thing that gets to happen to most people in this scenario. They eventually are forced to market, and if they can't sell the home for what they paid, which is the majority of the people in Florida that bought in the height of the crisis, you're feeling rug pulled. How do we know that? Because we just looked at an article today of people feeling rug pulled. Rug pulled if we're reading between the lines and looking between the cracks on this thing. What we just saw is people that bought at the height are probably upside down on their purchase, running on fumes on credit cards and exhausted their savings. Their cost of living is going up and they cannot keep up with these payments anymore. And they're probably backed up against a wall because they can't sell the house for what they paid for it. They don't own their home. They never did. Their homes always owned them. In final thoughts, I come to you as a friend, as a content creator. Somebody wants to see you not only win in real estate, win in life, understand the biggest artificially produced housing bubble ever produced in world history might have some blowback. We looked at some blowback today, I believe, when people are now mob scenes in HOA meetings, and I've served on an HOA board before as a new millennial home buyer. It was painful. A bunch of people that need to feel important. But I'm not so sure we need to put all the blame on the HOA board themselves. I think a lot of it could be put there in a lot of cases based on my involvement with HOAs. But I think this is really more of a leadership, a byproduct of a housing bubble, runaway inflation, and everything that comes along with it. We can throw a dart at a map of economic challenges, take your pick. There's something now causing a lot of blowback in this market. And this is dangerous because it's the biggest asset class in the world. If we lose it, we're going to be thrusted into another big recession. I think we'll be lucky this time if we got out of this with an 08 style recession. This one basically, in my opinion, has depression risk written all over it. Some areas will behave differently. Not everybody might get touched in that scenario. They'll get touched, but they might not receive depressionary levels of a downturn. But one thing's for sure, we're hitting correction, recession, or full-blown depression. I'm going to be here to blow the lid off it every step of the way because it's not only what we need, it's in fact what we deserve. If you appreciate the content, I want to humbly ask you to give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. Social media links in the description of this video if you'd like to contact me there. Along with links to channels I've appeared on I think you might enjoy. If you need help buying or selling real estate here in America, I have the biggest network of top-rated agents in the nation ready to assist you. It'd be our honor and our privilege. So email in the description for you as well. Also, if you're watching from your television set today and you enjoyed this video, I know you're going to love the next video, and there's an easy subscribe icon for your convenience. As always, thank you for your time. Please go make it count today. I'll see you on the next video.